Jesus, I'm not recording, am I? G'day everybody, I'm Brian and welcome back to Brian's Builds and Outdoors. In this video I'm going to make this cheese slicer out of Australian native hardwood. Stay tuned. The wood I'm going to use for this project is some Tasmanian oak, a bit of Tasmanian myrtle, some blackwood. Now this wood's all different thicknesses, different widths, so I'm going to have to mill some down to get the right amount. Okay, I've got my pieces of timber cut to a rough length, but a couple of them still have very rough edges, as you can see. So that needs to be cleaned up before I can progress any further. Jesus Christ, I'm wrecking the joint. Oh, so I've cleaned up the rough sawn edges of these two bits of timber here, but the hardest part for me at the moment is trying to decide which way to use the wood. I think what I'm going to do is cut the boards so that I get the bulk of the grain. I'm not sure if you can see the grain pattern in this wood, but it is quite spectacular, showing the grain pattern and the way I should lay it out in the comments. I'll have probably finished the cheese board by the time you get to see it anyway, but it's always interesting to get other points of view. Lovely. Okay, I've cut my blackwood down to rough size now, and I'm going to glue these two together, but the both of them together are not quite wide enough for the dimensions that I want. So what I will do is I will trim a little bit off the myrtle and add a strip of the Tassie oak on the other side, so it'll be, it'll look something like that in the end. And I'll take enough off there to cover for this. Yeah, I think that'll look pretty good. After a bit of mixing and matching, I've come up with a layout pleases. I've got the blackwood, Tassie oak and the myrtle. I think that looks pretty nice. Just go and glue these up now and put it aside until I'm ready for the next stage of the job. Gets a little bit of glue squeeze out, but nothing that can't be overcome with a rag. The thickness is about 23 mil, and I'll plane it down to 20 mil. I think that's plenty thick enough. The groove for the wire has only got to be maybe 5 mil deep, so that's going to be plenty. Anyway, that's where I'll leave it for now, and I'll come back once that glue's dry. As you can see, I've drilled the hole. I used a 7 mil bit to drill a hole deep enough to accept the cutting arm. And you see there, it fits quite well and moves quite freely. There is a bit of play in there, but I'm happy to put up with a bit of play. I'd rather have a bit of play than too tight, basically. What I've done here also is I've marked out just a line to cut a groove in the board now. I'm going to cut it 8 mil deep, and that'll be the line, or the groove I should say, that will accept the cutting wire. I just have to find where I put it now. Cut one of these very fine wires. I don't know if you can see that very well. And that's what actually cuts the cheese, if you'll pardon the expression. And yeah, so I'll get on with that now over on the table saw. I've already set the blade height to the required height, and I've marked the board so that I can see that the board's in the correct position. I just have to plug the saw in again. Hair protection rod. Alrighty, I might need to go a little bit deeper than that. It's plenty long enough, but not quite deep enough. Alright, as fate would have it, I've managed to cut the slot in the right place first go. The slicing arm fits in as it should and operates as it should, which is really good. I'm pleased with that. What I'm going to do now though is take the slicing arm back out, and I'm going to put a round over on this top side only of the board, and then sand prior to applying a finish. I've got a can of butcher's block finish on the shelf out there, so I think I'll use that. Alright, so as you saw, I've just routed a nice little round over on the around the top side. What I'll do now is go through a few grits of sandpaper up to about probably 400 before I put some finish on it. I won't bore you with that, I'll just get on with it. Alright, so I have some, what it actually is it's benchtop oil, but it is food safe once it's dry. So I'm going to apply some to the bottom first just to test it out and see how we get on. And I've got to tell you, the grain just bursts out of the wood. It looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see that, but have a look at that grain. I know it's not going to dry shiny like that, but yeah, that looked pretty good. I am very pleased. So I'll go and get my little drying stand. It's actually soaking in very quickly, which is good because that's what it's meant to do. The can says a minimum of 2 coats, 24 hours drying time, so I'm going to let that sit now on my drying rack, and I will come back tomorrow and give it another coat. It's recording. Now we're recording. Alright?
Smile.
We can hear you.
I don't care who's smiling.
Well, that's the end of another build and another video. Overall, I am very pleased with the result of the cheese cutting board. The selection of wood combined with the benchtop oil has really brought out the nice grain and characteristics of the wood. You can see that. The stainless steel cheese slicing hardware is excellent and moves freely in the board just as it should, and I'm happy with that too. I hope that the person who receives this as their Christmas gift will be happy. And I forgot what I was going to say next. Okay, so if you've stuck with me this far, thank you. Congratulations, you deserve a medal. Now, my wife tells me that I'm so serious in my videos, but I don't know how to be any other way. That's just the way I am. If you think I'm too serious, or I should try and tell jokes, let me know in the comments below. Let me know about this cheese board. Tell me what I could have done better or done differently. Well, that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.